Welcome back to Product and Health Tech, a community for product leaders in healthcare by product leaders. I'm Chris Hoy, Director of Product at Vynyl. Today we talked with Sheena Franklin, founder and CEO at Kept Health, an early stage startup building an inclusive AI engine to improve skincare diagnosis and treatment for diverse patients. Let's jump into that conversation. And thanks, Sheena, so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to get the chance to talk with you and learn a bit more about your background and this new project that you've founded and got going. So maybe we can start, Sheena, if you could just tell us a little bit about your background, kind of give us a sense of your story and how you got to your current position.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. So before starting Kept, I spent over 20 years, just over 20 years, as a healthcare lobbyist here in DC. So I primarily worked on the federal level, and a lot of the issues that I worked on were surrounding patient privacy, engagement, little pharmacy work, but majorly it was that. Considering I was working with Walgreens at the time, so a lot of our issues were both retail and the healthcare space. So that was exciting, and I also had an opportunity to work with our innovations team. So there were a lot of different startups that were coming through the company, if you will, through acquisitions, partnerships, our mobile app, rolling that out into the market, and just dealing with a lot of the advocacy component of it, like going to Capitol Hill, different legislators, wanting them to be aware of these projects that we were working on. And so that was my real introduction into how technology was playing a big part in healthcare, and then how all of this was going to change how we experience healthcare. So it's going to be less, in my vision, less practitioner focused and more focused on us as the patient.
Very cool. So deep background, kind of understanding the inner workings of healthcare in the US. Probably more than your average sort of healthcare person. You've got a deep understanding of how the regulatory and legislative side of things affects trends and whatnot. So very cool. Very excited to have that perspective in the product and health tech community. So with that kind of as a backdrop, can you maybe tell us a little bit about what your new project is, what Kept is all about, and what you're hoping to achieve with it?
Yeah, so I like to tell people in the beginning, you can think of Kept Health as maybe a 23andMe or a Flatiron Health of dermatology. So what we're really looking to do is focus on skin health when it comes to the microbiome, the environment, lifestyle, wellness. And so what we want to do is use clinical data and data science to translate patient experiences into real world evidence. So the ultimate is to make sure that we're improving treatments, products, and even research. So what that looks like is we use our telehealth platform as the main way that we can engage with patients as well as dermatologists. Our first focus to market are women. Just because women have just a lot more health challenges that then impact the skin. So we're not just looking at, dry skin. There's a lot of other different issues that we look at. And then that allows us to create what I like to call a skin imaging and health registry. So then we're able to catalog all that information and analyze it, draw key insights, and make recommendations.
That sounds like a pretty big gap in the market right now. It sounds like a cool opportunity. It sounds like there's probably a lot of demand for that kind of thing. Can you talk me through, sort of from a product or UX side of things, as I'm a new patient, maybe onboarding with Kept, what's the experience like, and what's maybe different about it than other offerings out there?
Yeah, so I'll start with the latter first. So what makes us different is that we're not just focused on cosmetic dermatology, right? So we're really looking at the internal factors and then how we deal with that when it comes to your skin. So our messaging from the beginning will be quite different. And so then once you're on the platform, we use AI. So you can snap a photo of your skin. We'll analyze that, give you some high level recommendations, right? And then from there, we give you two options, which we learned through our beta, which was very important. So you can either have a skin health consultation with a licensed esthetician, right? Or you can start your virtual visit with a dermatologist. So we give you those two different pathways. A lot of time folks don't know if they should see a dermatologist or they had a bad experience before. So we just want to make sure that we're aware of that. Another component of what we do is we really make sure that the practitioners that we have on our platform are well versed in skin of color. So we didn't want to create a whole separate platform. We feel like if we're all women, we all come to these diseases the same way. It's just when we go seek care that's where things start to change. And then the last thing that makes us different are the treatments that we give. So it's not just a diagnosis and a prescription. We do that, but we also dig deeper and give you lifestyle, behavioral facts or tips that you should incorporate to your day-to-day routine. And then we also look at wellness, especially for individuals who are dealing with like psoriasis, chronic skin diseases. So we incorporate like meditations. So it kind of helps with like itching, and like mindset. Yeah, that's what makes us different.
Very cool. And, I think there's a term that's being kind of used in the industry quite a bit these days, sort of this concept of culturally competent care. Would you say that KEPT is, kind of emphasizes that? And if so, how?
Yeah, we definitely do. So we look at it as our DNA, the core of who we are, less of a program that we should implement after the fact. So every feature, that's a big component of that. And that's also a big component of our skin registry, right? So a lot of the AI models today are 86% white and male. So it leaves so many patients, regardless of their skin tone or their health status, vulnerable. So we want to make sure that we are building an AI system that has equal representation of skin of color and all these other factors. So then now we're able to provide physicians with recommendations. So that could be on skin tone, skin disease, severity level, underlying health conditions, and then prescription effectiveness. So like that's what's driving our AI. So our AI is the main component of how we look at being culturally competent.
That's such a cool way to put that. It's like culturally competent AI. I mean, that's a powerful differentiator. Not to get too maybe technical here, but can you talk a little bit about how the AI models, how do you sort of tweak them or make sure that they avoid some of the biases that have come up in previous uses of AI and machine learning?
Yeah, so we really had to make a concentrated effort in the beginning with our plan of how we were going to collect images. I don't want to be flippant, but it was just basically saying we're going to build something that has equal representation of skin of color. It was just basically that simple, but not simple, right? So there's challenges with getting images of skin of color. And so we started, how can we do that? So we knew that going forward, we would work with dermatologists who are, well-versed in that area, leaders in the industry, and we will begin to collect images that way. Another way that we do it is through our platform itself. So we're able to get a lot of the data naturally. Obviously, we are mindful of privacy and we're very transparent. And then another thing that we're looking at is bringing a little bit of my like lobbying background more into it, is an advocacy campaign and encouraging women to participate in helping us to develop an AI that is built by them and for them. So again, just really being transparent and engaging the patient, or what you want to say, the patient consumer, in the entire process.
So cool. That's awesome. So thinking now kind of through the lens of, this is product and health tech, a lot of early stage companies, it is common, right, for the founder, the CEO to be sort of leading the product management of the offering. Are you kind of wearing that hat now as well?
I don't know what you would call it. I definitely have a great engineer on the team, 20 years of experience in AI and machine learning. We have some great developers on the team. So I think at this point, it's more of me just communicating what my vision is, right? But since we are early stage, I think I'm probably a little bit more annoying than what they would, want. But it's like move that button, things like that, or this doesn't come up. But I'm definitely not the lead when it comes to product management or just even designing at this point, as I was during like the MVP stage.
So it sounds like still super early, still very collaborative with
Right.
this team. So are you? And it sounds like there's a big enough sort of gap in the market, if you will, or a big enough need for this kind of thing that uh, you're probably getting, positive, useful feedback, almost from a just an MVP offering. It doesn't need to be, super sophisticated, mature, like complex piece of technology. It sounds like they're probably just happy to have a connection with, the values at Kept and the AI technology that can help solve for this thing. Would you say that's kind of your experience so far?
Yeah, it's definitely our experience. So it's from the women that we go out and talk to, treat. They're very delighted, looking forward for our product, but also have bigger, I would say, like life sciences, technology companies, big pharma, even skincare, beauty manufacturers who are very interested in what we're building as well. So like they have a need to use the data that we're analyzing to build better products, but they also are trying to find more ways to engage with that community because maybe they have a lack of trust historically. So lots of interest, which is great for us.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Can you talk maybe a little bit about what's in the near term time horizon, maybe the vision for the next year, whether it's partnerships or new markets or, growing the clinical team?
Yeah, yeah. So we're always trying to grow the clinical team. For this year, we're definitely going to be launching our skin health advocacy campaign. I'm really excited about that and some of the partnerships. They're going to be working with us to make that happen. Even a national effort than just a regional effort for us. So look forward to that. We're also going to be rolling out the first version of our app. So it's going to be the ability to have your own skin health journal. So you can go in with your products, you can put in your prescriptions, notes, all those types of things, but also you'll be able to have those skin consultations that I was talking about earlier. And then earlier in 2020, what, four that is, then we'll roll out with the full telemedicine visits.
Big year ahead. That's awesome. Can you maybe share, either through you or your team, just over the last few months as Kept has, kind of started to grow? What are some, wins that you've celebrated with the team?
Yeah, so we just finished Techstars, and so that was a win. We had a lot of great introductions. One of the major partnerships that we're working with now came out of our experience at Techstars, and I think the biggest thing was that we were able to set up our image. I like to call it an image collection site tool that allows the dermatologists that we're working with to come to the site and to upload images that they already have, that they already have prior consent for from the patients and begin to like label. So we're able to segment and label and to start training our algorithms. So also we were able to have 2,000 women participate in over 10,000 images. So we're in a really good spot. So I'm really excited that we got that done. That was like a major lift.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Cool. Thinking now about kind of the maybe macro level sort of healthcare industry trends, I'm not sure, too many people are better versed in how the, legislative trajectories might influence something like a healthcare startup. What do you see on the horizon as far as, whether new legislation might enable new opportunities or, create, additional kind of gaps for you? Or could you imagine there, maybe with a reduction in the telehealth capabilities that are sort of currently available, like, do you imagine there being some headwinds that you might have to work through?
Yeah. So I think those go perfectly together. So everyone talks a lot about telemedicine and the rollback that we experienced during COVID. I do think that's going to be continue to be a topic of conversation. What normally happens is even if a issue is important, if there's something much bigger like Ukraine or the budget, like not passing a budget and inflation, like those issues kind of get pushed to the side. But I think, the Telemedicine Association, they're continuing to push for that. So that does create challenges for us, obviously, in how we roll out across the country. But I think we'll probably see more on data of just how we're collecting data. I think right now the health industry has a little bit of spotlight on how we collect data, but not a lot versus like a retailer or an Apple, right? But I think that's coming eventually because there's going to be more and more companies like me, maybe not in dermatology, but cancer or whatever that specialty may be. And patients being more willing to share their data, I think we're going to see more legislation come out about that.
Thinking now about sort of the future ahead of Kept, maybe we're 3 or 5 years down the road, and let's assume that things have gone really well for Kept. What do you think that world looks like for you and for the company and for the patients?
Yeah, so I like to tell people that our vision is to help women today on their mobile phones. And then in the future, we would love to be at your favorite retailer, right? Whether that's Sephora or Ulta, probably not both because they're main competitors, but, maybe even at your Walmart or your Walgreens or CVS. So that allows you to come into those stores, have a skin scan, and be able to get real solid advice. And then we can triage your care. So we can say, oh, this is a condition that's less severe. We can treat it through telemedicine. Or, this is something that really needs to be seen in person by a dermatologist. This is who we recommend you go to, right? So I feel like dermatology and skincare, we have a little bit more flexibility maybe than the other specialties. So I would really like to see kept health in those types of situations.
Good point. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious, just kind of about sort of your story or your inspiration for leaving what it sounds like was a very sort of successful career with large healthcare players in a influential kind of lobbying role. Yeah. What was it like to sort of make this relatively big transition, and how are you feeling about it now?
Yeah, I wish I could say it was like, oh yes, I saved up. I knew this is it wasn't that. It was it was gradual, as I explained before with my experiences. Then I had my own skin health challenges as well. And then it was right around that time. I'm not sure everybody on this call knows, but Walgreens was actually bought out by Alliance Boots. And so there was just a lot of transition, and the opportunity presented itself. And so I said, I'll take that, and then I'll go try to do this. So it's definitely been a struggle. I do wish I had the resources of Walgreens, but we'll get there eventually.
And are you getting kind of a steady stream of positive feedback from new customers and new patients?
Yeah, we do. So we always try to keep in contact, just emails, building out a community, involving them in the process. So we definitely do. And that's something that we want to maintain throughout the company, but something that we're going to have to be just really hyper sensitive about, because we know as we grow and scale, sometimes you lose the on the ground feeling with your customers.
Maybe that's kind of a good segue to think about the product and health tech network as you try to expand a bit this year. What might the network be able to contribute to you, or what would you be looking for maybe as the team grows? Maybe product management help or partnerships with certain players in the industry. Like what's on your sort of
Yeah. Definitely want to hire more product people. I would definitely love a product manager. Looking at a data scientist is a big part for us as we grow. And a community engagement person is going to be hypercritical for us as well. And then if I just wanted to put it out there, I would love to work like with a big company like an Apple of the world, because they have challenges with their products and darker skin tones, those types of things. But yeah, that's the future.
awesome, very cool. Um, Okay, well, as we kind of wrap up here, Sheena, can you let the products and health tech community know what the best way to reach out to you is?
Yeah, absolutely. So on all social channels, you can find us at Kept Health. So it's KEPT Health. And then our website is kept.health. Very simple. And then obviously you can find me on LinkedIn at Sheena D. Franklin.
Sheena, thank you so much. I know, the life of an early stage founder is incredibly busy. So you sharing a little bit of time with us today is, we're just super grateful. And it was really exciting for me to get to connect with you and hear about what you're up to with Kept. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, or on our website, productsandhealthtech.com. If you have ideas or suggestions on what you'd like to hear about in a future episode, or if you'd like to be a guest, please just shoot us an email at info@productsandhealthtech.com. Thanks.